Welcome to The Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind.
Hi, I'm Melanie Friedlander, and welcome to My Terrible Take, coming at you every Sunday, courtesy of Steelers Depot. The time between mandatory minicamp and the start of training camp is usually a vacuum when it comes to NFL news. Most of the free agents have already been signed, and there's no bombshell reports. But that was very different last Thursday when the Steelers announced they released Pro Bowl guard David DeCastro, who still had a year left on his contract. At the time I recorded the Terrible podcast with Dave and Alex that day, we had no idea what the issue was. And originally, I was planning on taking a deeper dive into guard Trey Turner's injury history today. But the following day, we found out what DeCastro's challenge was. In texting with Joe Starkey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, he revealed that he has ongoing issues with his ankle and will require another surgery to deal with some bone spurs. He was hoping that time would allow him to recover following his last surgery early in 2020, but he continued to have pain, and an MRI done during minicamp indicated that the bone spurs had returned. DeCastro said that he will need surgery to alleviate the pain, whether he can return to the NFL or if he has already played his last snap, and that he expects his recovery would be a few months. This is obviously why the Steelers released him, knowing that it was unlikely he could contribute on the field until late in the season, and that would have been a best-case scenario. The surgery for bone spurs is usually performed arthroscopically, with tiny incisions and a skinny telescope to see inside the ankle joint. The bone spurs and any inflamed tissue is removed. Return to play can happen as soon as 7 weeks, but recovery can take a lot longer depending on how much of a clean-out is needed. Although the recurrence rate for bone spurs is high, actually about 2/3, they usually don't cause any symptoms when they return, so DeCastro got really unlucky here. The other challenge for DeCastro is how much arthritis he has in the ankle. Not only can this cause chronic pain, but it can also limit his range of motion and therefore his ability to move on the field, which is key for a guard. We saw how he struggled with this last season. I've always been a huge fan of David DeCastro from the day he slid down the board in the 2012 draft to land in Pittsburgh. While he may or may not be able to return to football, it probably won't be this year unless a team picks him up later in the season to replace another injured player. And he sounds like he is comfortable with playing or retiring, however it turns out. Either way, I wish him all the best and appreciate everything he gave in his time in black and gold. If you want to know more about bone spurs and the surgery, I'll be putting a post up on SteelersDepot.com later today. Thanks for listening, and follow me on Twitter @GirlSurgeon.
Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday.